when we talk about healing, when we talk about awakening, about expanding our consciousness, the number one thing is the awareness, right? Is the awareness. And I've talked about this a little bit in my recent post on codependency on my Instagram, but we've covered this in this whole reading as well. So this is what this illusion card is all about. We're not asking of you to immediately remove the illusion, to immediately remove all the conditioning, to realize that everything that we're taught to believe, it's just conditioning of the society, of family, of culture, of religion, and of individuals around us that, brought us up. We are asking for you to realize as step number one. And remember, I've mentioned this in the previous parts of this collective, that you are in this moment of life when you already know that this is an illusion, but you haven't completely just yet figured out your own truth. And that's enough. So this being your first kind of card of guidance, they're asking you to continue to see the illusion. You might not yet know what to do with it. You might not be yet healed enough or have courage enough to take action, but we're wanting you to see the illusion. So if there is someone, because we were talking as well about people treating you poorly, right? If there is someone who is treating you poorly, and you are excusing this behavior, saying that, oh, I will excuse this because this is my sister, or this is my parent, or it's my child, or it's my soul connection. Maybe there's someone that you're romantic, you're involved with, and you believe this is your true soul connection. This is not an excuse. Watch this reading from the beginning to understand, because we've covered this. So specifically, my mind goes back to that sister example that I've given you, right? So if this was not my sister, I would never speak to this person, but because this is my sister, I'm going to go on with our relationship. Mistake. A lesson not learned. Karmic contract not closed, because it's not how it's supposed to look like. Boundaries are boundaries. Universal truths are universal truths. What we accept, the values that we require, we should require them from anyone. Okay, so we're not, the guidance here with this card specifically, we're not saying that you have to immediately take action, but in order to properly close the cycle, and I talked about this in my video about generically explaining to you guys what it means moving from that 9 cycle to the new next 9 cycle. It's not about immediately closing everything and solving everything and removing all our problems and cutting all karmic ties. The closure of a contract, karmic contract, which can be a lesson, a pattern, a person, it comes from the awareness. Now I know. I may need some time to bring it into action. I may need some time to bring it into my life, but now I know. Now I know that I feel that this person is my soul connection, or I feel that they're my family, and I'm excusing something, but I know I shouldn't be doing this. I know it comes from my shadow. It has nothing to do with who they are to me. It's an illusion. It's an illusion of the mind. Do you know what I mean? Beautiful cards. Very important for this collective. Surrender to receive. Surrender to receive. There is something about reciprocity within this collective. That there are relationships that you give more than you take. That you give more than you expect in return. And you're making excuses. Again, saying that this is my soul connection, this is my destined person, because we've already maybe been together or been friends so many years, if not my whole lifetime, because this is my family member. Irrelevant. 13th of the 2nd came to my mind, so maybe that's an important date for some of you. Surrender to receive. It goes back to worthiness. It goes back to boundaries. Remember everything that we've explained about boundaries, self-love, and authenticity. It's important for this collective. In men's growth, that's really beautiful. Number 13, you are growing. I feel that for this collective, it's understand. I don't think it's going to be difficult for you, because everything that we mentioned, you being an earth sign, you being very right, except it's a process. You are in process of growth. You are learning. So remember that there's a reason I said that, to close a cycle and be allowed to, what do I always say to you guys? When we talk about cycles, be it collectively, right? We are now in that 9-year cycle, or our individual 2-year cycles, right? In order to, in between cycles, we're always in this energetic waiting room when we're being tested, right? Tests are, again, I always say this, opportunities to show that we are who we say that we are, that we've learned lessons, that we've broken patterns, that we learned that certain things we have to do differently, right? If we really want to grow and we want to expand as a person and as a soul. So in this waiting room, what we need to do in order for them to grant us access to another door, to another level of growth and expansion, is not to seal the deal and make that phone call, or block that person, or sign that divorce, right? But it's the realization. It's the awareness of the patterns that you've been repeating. It's the removal of the illusion. Is the removal of the denial. Is not no longer convincing yourself, oh, I'm allowed to accept this shitty behavior because this person is the love of my life, or I'm allowed to accept this shitty behavior because this is my sister or my father and I have to, no, or my brother, cousin, whatever. No. Realize that. You don't necessarily have to say stop and put up that boundary if you're not ready. It requires strength, self-love. It does require growth. But the realization, the more we are in denial, we will never grow. And I always say this to you guys, denial is the biggest enemy of growth, of expansion, of shadow work. For as long as you deny the shadow, I've posted about this recently on my Instagram as well. The more you deny the shadow, you will never integrate it, and you will always be in this fight of polarities. This is the bad thing, this is the good thing, and the bad thing, I'm sort of try to cover it up. You're here for an immense growth in this lifetime, this collective. Action leads to success. Number 1, action leads to success. I feel this is, I sort of kind of want to read through this as well. Hold on, I'm being guided. Maybe a dragon is a sign for you guys. Because I feel like you're not so much being forced to take actions right now as a guidance, but to understand that ultimately it's the choices that we take that lead to success. 6 dragons. Number 6 will be relevant for this collective as well. If you're seeing a lot of 6s, 666, maybe you were born in June. It is the number of reciprocity. Service and those in need. Dragon assists us on our journey towards ascension. It's one of the most promising cards in the deck. If you take inspiration running through you and run it into action. For success, meditate upon this card with dragon power energy to direct outwards to create what we desire. A masculine energy, initiator, the doer, the spirit, the action. Commit to overcoming any roadblocks. Maybe there is an action that you're being invited to take, to be honest. Work diligently and do not expect an immediate reward. We always say this. It's the hardest part in this journey. For years on end, we have to show up, do the work, show that we're better, show that we grew. And in our external world, absolutely nothing changes. And I can tell you right now, it's something you have to accept. It's the hardest part on this journey. And there's a reason I want to explain this to you guys, so maybe it will be relevant. Maybe you are in the beginning of your journey. When we go through this journey, people who are truly meant to awaken, right? The old soul, the light workers, those who go through Kundalini awakening to live a life of service. It's this statement that I always say to you guys, to whom much is given, much is expected. So for many, 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 many years, we're in this bubble of growth. where when we do something wrong, okay, karma gets us immediately because we went through minimum of 500 lifetimes. We were given key to the truth, okay? We have been awakened. Much is expected, so much more than from most people. The BS that people come around and you know, and it can be forgiven, it can be sort of a right, but for us, our guides are looking at us with a magnifying glass, okay? The littlest things, you're gonna get immediately your karma. And then you go ahead and you do your work, you do your inner work, you help others, you carry the beam of then the beacon of light, right? You spread the messages of truth, you work and you take actions, and you see no immediate result in your physical world, sometimes for years on end. And it's part of the process. Work diligently and do not expect immediate reward. To whom much is given, much is expected. And only the strongest warriors will reach the top of the mountain, where you really understand that as long as you don't learn that you do not do things with an intention and with expectation, you'll never get any kind of reward. We have to be trained, us light workers, us warriors of source, us the spiritual teachers, that as long as whatever you do it with an expectation of a reward will never come. It's to train us that we just are, that our actions, they have to be meaningless to us. We just do it, right? It's the good deed and the bad deed, right? You're not supposed to do something because it's a good thing. I just do it, right? So as long as your mindset is, I'm going to do this because I want to help people, or I want to do this because I want to help this person, no reward. Us, those who truly are given the truth of light, we have to reprogram our mind to understand, I do it because this is who I am. That is it. I don't care. I don't do it to get reward. I don't do it to get applaud. There's a reason this collective, they will teaching you that lesson. Remember when we were talking about that so many people, they do things and they say, it's sort of the rule, which kind of a spiritual book says that? I'm not good at this because it's all illusion, but all of them carry a wisdom that the helping to others, to the poor ones, it has to be anonymous and it has to be done in silence. I think all of the books mention it, and it's the very truth. As long as you do something, whatever that is, act of love towards your partner, an act of kindness, and then it's all over the news, all over the internet, your social media, or you share it with all your friends, zero value. With us, again, to whom much is given, much is expected. Even on a level of our mind, we cannot be doing things because it's a good thing. We have to completely neutralize our life. There's a reason it was coming to my mind. So maybe this collective, whether you're going to understand it completely or not now, if it resonates, if something rings in your heart, save this video to watch that maybe within a couple of months or even years, as you're going to gain more understanding. But true spiritual teachers, the beacons of change, those that will sort of plant the seed to new earth, we have to completely, it's the nothingness that builds wholeness. There is no good, there is no evil. There is no darkness, there is no shadow. There just is. We just are. I don't do something because I want to help someone, but it's a good thing to do. It's a right thing to do. It's a different level of consciousness that you'll have to reach. But maybe now is the time for you to start to understand that we just do things meaningless because this is just who I am, right? It should, for the right collective, it should make sense. But overall, I think that the guidance for this collective is continue to remove the illusion. Learn about reciprocity. There's an immense growth in front of you. There's an immense change and transformation in the next 9-year cycle. And there's certain things that you have to remove the illusion. And there are certain things that you will have to understand, that what will be required from you will be from here, action, 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 with no expectation of an outcome. Ultimate rule of Bashar: act on your highest excitement to the best of your abilities with no expectation of an outcome. And it's true. And it's a rule that so few people really understand. I recently, deviation, but it's coming to my mind for a reason. I recently saw this video of this guy saying that there was this actress and she had a son, and that he's already so successful, nepotism, blah, blah, blah. And he's been, doing his work, and he's not. You guys, again, what are you trying to point out here? Life is not meant to be fair. This is the whole point of this matrix. We all have what is relevant to us. The moment you stop looking at what you have and what is relevant to you, and you look at other people to point out that it was easier for them, so what? So what? Do you know what I mean? It means that you are still locked in a mindset of expectation. Why are you an actor? Are you an actor because you want to be famous, because you want to get paid, or you're an actor because because you act on your highest excitement to the best of your abilities with no expectation of an outcome? The fame, the money, the contracts, the successes, it's an outcome. It's a physical outcome. And I know that not many people will have the capacity to understand that, right? But you, this collective, you have. Who you will become, you will have to become it, because this is you. It's like a fish in the ocean. You're a fish because you're a fish. Who else would you be? Now you're not going to be comparing yourself because this other fish is bigger, because this other fish has bigger colors. I am who I am. What am I supposed to do about this? There's no expectation. I cannot do anything else but to be a fish. So if you are at heart, given that example, if you are at heart an actor, be an actor. Stop moaning about that this one is more successful, this one has more money, this one has more screen time, or whatever the measurement of success is for you are where you are. Whatever you will become, a spiritual teacher, a reader, an actor, an activist, right? Be what you're meant to be, without expectation of an applaud. There is something, it all sort of comes together for this collective. So it's an important message. You will have to be put through this journey to really learn that when we are who we are, this is how I always say this to you guys. How do you know that you are who you are and that this is really your core destiny? Because if you would be teleported to a completely deserted planet or a desert island, you are the only living person in there, you would still do it. I would freaking still do it, okay? If they bring my cards with me, I will still do my cards for a non-existent collective that will never hear the message, because it's who I am. I don't do it for followers. I don't do it for likes. I don't do it. I do it because this is who I am, okay? I wouldn't know how to breathe without this. I wouldn't know. And there are readers who are in a physical understanding, they're so much more successful. They have more followers, more comments, more likes, more shares. I don't care, because I wouldn't know how to go on without this. I wake up, that's the first thing I think about. I wouldn't know. It's who I am. It's the fish. I am the fish. Do you know what I mean? It would make sense for the right collective. All right, let's do some tarot to wrap this up. Guidance for you. I feel this is going to be a lot for you. That there's a reason it's coming now to my mind, that remember that we're doing 9 and 9. So certain things may not land immediately with you. You may be trapped in those worries that you have. I feel like there's going to be few things. So some of these things may be messages that will maybe resonate in 6 months, in 12 months. So hold on to them. Journal or save if it really resonates. Chariots. So you are being invited to move forth. You are being invited to take an action. You are being invited to take initiative. So maybe this collective, there is something that, things were brewing on the inside within you. Things were shifting. Things were changing. You were being made aware of certain things and certain mechanisms and patterns and shadows within you. I feel like now you're being invited to take action. We have action leads to success, removing the illusion. We have the Chariot, which is a card of movement, and we have the Horse, which is the upcoming year, the year of the horse. Horse is swift movement. There's a lot of masculine energy within here. So maybe you are being asked to activate that inner masculine. It's the inner masculine within us that is that horse energy. This is why this year is going to be transformatory for our beautiful divine masculines, but also for the feminines who need to activate that masculine. It's that masculine within us that invites us to take action, to create structure, to be the problem solver, it's the doer within us, right? Maybe there's something that you've been it's coming to my mind. Maybe there's something that you felt that you needed to do, but you've been hesitant. Maybe there's a reason I've also mentioned this career and, being actor, being a reader, not necessarily. Maybe there's something that you feel that you need to do, but you're afraid because you know that you're not going to be immediately successful, or that it's going to be hard, or it's a new field for you. But remember, the illusion of success that most people on this planet, this sad little planet, beautiful planet, believe in, it's an illusion. Success, true success, it's not about followers. It's not how many people know of you. It's not about how much money you have, how much you get paid, right? How much you get applauded and how much you're appreciated and valued. It's about the ripple effect that you create to actually make a change. There are people on this planet that millions of people knows of them. And then there's going to be a person that maybe, lives somewhere hidden in the woods, but energetically they're going to do something or say something a couple of times in their lifetime that will be seen by no one, but will create a ripple effect that will change millions. We never know. This is why we have to take actions, meaningless actions, because it's me. It's part of who I am. We all carry an imprint within us for how we have to change this world, for how we can change this world. And if we focus on external outcome, right, we're never going to go towards the right direction. You have to become the fish. I am the fish. This is why we say that the biggest thing on the journey of spirituality is to discover your authentic self, because it's the authentic self that carries the coding of what you're meant to do for this world. And you're not even meant to know. You're not meant to know how many people you were touched, how many lives you were changed, to how many people the sound of your voice will sort of erase their energy, or the glow of your light will inspire them to do something better, right? We're not meant to know this because we're not here for applaud. It's the ego. It's the ego. The soul has an imprint, a blueprint. That your job is to release the ego, to get into that, what kind of fish you are, and then just do what's natural to you without any kind of expectation. Do you know what I mean? It's a hard thing to do, Hermit. We have that 6 again, so I feel 6 is important for this collective. This is what I'm getting when it comes to your guidance. There is an invitation to take action, but part of that action for this collective will be inner work. There's a lot of inner work for you to do, and you're being invited to activate the masculine energy within, to find structure, to find consistency, to find dedication, to work on yourself, to work on your shadows. There is something around self-love, reciprocity, the programming, right? These are shadows within you. It's that gray fog that we've mentioned that is clouding certain things when it comes to you and your visual, right? You already know that the illusion exists. Now the question is, what is an illusion and what is my truth? What kind of fish I am, right? So I feel you're being invited to approach this with action, with forward movement, with that masculine dedication, structure, consistency, commitment to self, but going back to your inner world, to creating inner union. We had that peace card as well, right? So to cultivate that inner peace within you, to figure out how you really do that. There's Six of Emotions, especially this card in this deck, it carries the energy of inner child. It carries the energy of, on a journey of it's a spiral. We always talk about this. And as we start healing, the spiral goes inwards, because we sort of have to go back in time. It all exists simultaneously in the quantum field, but in a linearity of illusion of linearity of time, we sort of have to, in that spiral, go back, go inwards to the darkest shadows. We go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper on this journey of healing, right? We go back to our childhoods, to the traumas, and right. And once we've done this enough, once we've healed, and I always explain this to you guys, healing has an end date. For those of us who have been awakened to this journey, for most people, healing will be a process. But for those of us who have been awakened to really start this journey with dedication, if you put yourself to it with that masculine energy, there is an end date, right? So as you reach that moment when you're healed, you're whole, from that point, what starts to happen, you go outwards at the spiral. You start to expand your consciousness. You no longer, there's nothing to fix, because now you've understood that there never was anything to fix, right? Shadow and light is just an illusion, and you're whole all along. But once you understand that, through journey of that inward spiral, you sort of switch back, and you're here, you're in your garden, you're already that fish, you know what kind of fish you are, and you start to grow outwards. You expand, you spread your wings, you grow another pair of wings, you grow your dragon, right? And you just expand. You expand your consciousness, you expand your existence, you remember more and more. It's such a beautiful part of that journey. So right now, I feel you're being invited to go inwards with that dedication, with that consistency, right? Let's do another row. Muse of Materials. We have that card again. It's really beautiful. I feel like there's something within you. You will one day embody that energy of King of Pentacles, right? To have the cake and to eat the cake, the king of a castle. The one that will build something really huge and really tangible, because you have the perseverance, because you have the patience, because you have the foundation. I feel, you know what I'm hearing in this collective? I feel like your masculine side is actually very strong. Maybe you are a bit of a hyperachiever. There's a reason I mentioned for you guys. There's a reason we grabbed that card, and there's a reason I was guided to read through this. And we had that statement, act with diligence, with no expectation, with no change. And I was explaining this whole shebang to you guys, how sometimes we work for years and we get our karma for bad things immediately, but we get no external reward, because this is all for us to realize that you are the reward. You are the prize. Who you become in process, it's enough of a prize. For years, there may be no external change. And there's a reason that it came to my mind. So it may be the case for this collective that you have to prepare, that you have to really reach that mindset that you do things because there's nothing else for you to do. Not because you want a reward and you want an expectation. To sort of a surrender to what life has in plans for you. One more. There's going to be a physical stagnation, but remember, in the physical plane, Six of Materials again. Six is important. The flow of life, I'm hearing, understanding the flow of life, understanding the reciprocity. As long as you're doing something with an intention, it means that you want something, and you're coming from a place of ego. Soul wants nothing because soul is everything, right? The only reciprocity you have to learn is the one that you have towards yourself. How you allow people, world, life to treat you. Surrender to the flow of life. It's a beautiful message, you guys. I hope this was helpful. I wish you an amazing next year that will start in a few months. Use those few moons to prepare. And yeah, there's so much growth for this collective.